Any questions on what I just covered?
Anyone else with questions? No, you can keep...
On what you've already covered?
Just what I covered.
Yeah, I think I'd like to get some clarification, quite frankly, for the public's benefit, on the voiding of the $100,000 PO.
I'll cover that in the next section.
Okay.
He
That's
just
okay with you?
mentioned that he was going to cover it.
Yep.
Okay.
So would you please continue?
Sure. All right, the second package was, or is, a copy of my revised 2012 open PO listings. It's attached. You'll see, if you read through that, you'll see where I've made notations, et cetera, that this one should be closed, this one is voided, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the 2012 encumbrances I need the board to approve is through a motion is $385,070.84. I've done an analysis of this, and I started at the same place I was at last time at $733,000. I added the $14,000 for the code book. I closed out $45,000. I voided the sewer repair at $100,000, and I'll get to that in a second. I pulled off the cemetery warrant article PO because that actually is getting encumbered through the other process which we did back in December under RSA 327:V, then backed out the funds for a grand total of $385,000. The operating budget related is under the separate line, $377,000, and the comparable number in 11 was $317,000. So therefore, the difference between 12's encumbrances and 11's is $60,000. The question now comes down to be the $100,000 purchase order. We requested a legal opinion from town council. We also, and I have to go right back to saying that it was my impression that this board wanted me to encumber $100,000 for the work underneath Lafayette Road, not to deal with the project that's also involved, but literally we have a broken sewer and we've proven that. So anyway, I looked for a vehicle.
Many people agree with you at that point.
Okay, so I worked on a vehicle, and reading under RSA 327I, you need to have a purchase order, which is the one thing that I thought would be acceptable. And additionally, the DRA's opinion on the same question was solicited by the Budget Committee. I had direct contact with Mr. Hamilton, who's the acting director of the DRA, and his opinion was the same as legal counsel's, that the purchase order did not meet the letter of the law in regards to 327I, so therefore we have voided that, which then took it out of the encumbrance list that was being presented. I believe that the motion or the discussion last 2 weeks ago in regards to this was more to say that, that we needed a legal opinion. This gave us the time to deal with it. We found out that this doesn't work, and so it's been taken care of.
And it never was at any time encumbered.
Absolutely correct.
I feel that the public needs to know that. I think this has been misrepresented. And really, the board did not even get our message from our lawyer and his advice until recently this week.
And I didn't get an answer from the DRA until
Not
late
today.
on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Did you want to continue?
That basically comes down to is that if the board feels that the list is acceptable, I'd look for a motion for the $385,070.84 to encumber the funds for going forward in 2013.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move that we encumber $385,070.84 against the detail that has been provided by the finance director.
And a second?
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Yes. Essentially, our past understanding was that we could encumber to a purpose as opposed to a legally obligated obligation. Okay. Our understanding now, based on the feedback from the town attorney and DRA, is we have to have a legally obligated contract or other, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this basically changes, I believe, our practice going forward, okay? To this particular one, I assume that all of the other POs that make up this $385,000, other than this $100,000 one, are legally obligated agreements, contracts?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that answers that. Going forward to next year, given the fact that the encumbrances, it would seem to me, have to be approved prior to January 1st, because they have to be legal obligations as of that date, then it seems to me that the whole process has to change and happen earlier, similar to what happened in 2011. Do you agree with that?
No,
Okay.
because as I did this time, I accumulate through the end of the year a list of the open POs. And they're all, as we just discussed, the ones that we're dealing with are all legally binding, et cetera. But there are some times, as I found, to the tune of $45,000, that the PO list that we're dealing with may be incorrect or overstated. So therefore, it takes some time for analysis. Once the PO is set up, that puts the outer limit on it. Then it's my job to come to you and say, okay, I have reviewed these, and this is really the number that we need to encumber. You could say, at December 31st, everything on the PO list, encumbered it. But I'm telling you is that I would be uncomfortable doing that because there's probably something in there that's in there because it's an oversight, it hasn't cleared through the system or whatever. This is a mechanical generation from the PO list. It has not been reviewed by the department heads, et cetera, and myself, and then, in essence, yourselves.